Welcome to The Action Within, the podcast for quietly ambitious women who feel lost in a career that's never felt right. I'm Lindsay Pereira, career alignment coach and mentor, here to guide you as you reconnect with yourself and understand what's truly driving your career choices. Each week, we'll explore reflection, insight, and practical tools to help you let go of a work identity that doesn't fit and move towards a career that aligns with who you really are. Subscribe to discover your patterns, rebuild self-trust, and take intentional steps towards the career and life you want. Hello and welcome. Today we're talking about the idea that moving fast will help you fix the career misalignment you're feeling. I'll share a different view and 3 practices to help you create real clarity before any professional moves. One theme that always comes up with my clients is the pressure to move fast. And it makes sense. Once you finally acknowledge something isn't right, you want to resolve it quickly. But what's really interesting is that when we look at your path closely, we usually find a pattern of fast surface level decisions that end up pulling you further into work that doesn't actually fit. If you sense you're on autopilot and detached from yourself, but yet can't articulate what would fit better, rushing won't help. Those fast decisions tend to keep you operating in the same context that doesn't reflect you, and with progressively more exhaustion as time goes on. First, know that you're not alone. I've been in this exact place, rushing forward, doubling down, hoping the pressure will ease. But as I learned the hard way, hope is not a strategy. Clarity is. Take time to reflect on your career path so far. How many times have you made a change only to end up with the same sense of misalignment, wondering why you chose something that still doesn't feel right, and then pushed yourself, often to excess, to make it work anyway? It is surprising, isn't it? Hindsight is a gift, but only when you're willing to take the lesson and use it with purpose. The problem with moving fast isn't the speed itself. Quick decisions can be powerful, but only after you've taken time to answer a few core questions. Why do I feel this way? What do I really want? What are the next moves that truly reflect me? Your answers don't need to be perfect, but they do need to be considered enough to point you towards a true north. That clarity is what creates space for real exploration. As I said before, you're not alone. We live in a culture that worships speed. Move fast or fall behind. It's hard to imagine slowing down, especially when you've been running full tilt for many years. But these voices of urgency are just noise. When you give yourself even a little distance from the constant pull on your time and attention, a calmer, more grounded world comes into view. In that slower space, it's easier to tell what's noise and what's real. I've always liked moving fast and getting things done. It took a second career burnout before I finally said enough. Learning to slow down was tough, but a non-negotiable at that point. Slowing down showed me who I really am. I much prefer this version of me. That kind of clarity is possible for you too. Let's look at how slowing down can guide you back to the real you. First step, be honest with yourself. Rushing hasn't given you clarity. Each time you're left asking, why do I feel this way? Where do I belong? Is this it? Until retirement? That's why you're here. The first step is admitting a new approach is needed and carving out time for honest reflection. Ask the hard questions about your feelings, your experience, and the mask you wear to get through the day. You are an honest person. It's time to be honest with yourself. Next, turn down the external noise. Family and friends mean well and they want to help you, but their advice comes from their own experience and fears. Sometimes this keeps you stuck, either holding you back or pushing you to move too quickly. Hear their advice with grace, but set it aside so you have space to think. Online too, the noise never stops. Social platforms constantly nudge you to rush. Scrolling online, it's easy to think everyone else has it together while you're trying to find your own way. That kind of pressure makes you second guess yourself even more. You're not alone in feeling this way. Remember, you rarely see all the steps others took to get to where they are. They've faced their own challenges and put in the work to understand who they are and how they want to show up. You're seeing the result, not the effort. You can't skip straight to the results without taking the first steps. It's not about avoiding online. It's about being mindful of what you take in. Notice how you interpret what you see. When you admire someone's success, remember there were steps behind it. Appreciate the effort and give yourself the same grace. Your journey is just beginning. The third practice is to notice your self-talk. You talk to yourself all day. If you really listened, you'd be shocked. Not just by how constant the dialogue is, but how critical it can be. Sometimes it's harsher than you'd ever speak to a friend. When your brain hears the same self-critical thoughts on repeat, you start treating them as truth. That can quietly steer your decisions and keep you stuck in the same patterns and heading towards burnout. You probably haven't paid much attention to your self-talk, but noticing it is the first step to making more deliberate, aligned choices. This is where it begins. As you slow down, start paying attention to your self-talk. Awareness is the first step. Notice what you say to yourself and write it down to establish your baseline. It may feel uncomfortable, but this is part of creating a new way forward. With these 3 practices, you'll begin to slow down, notice yourself more clearly, and start the real work of understanding who you are. It's easy to get swept along when on autopilot, burying parts of yourself just to get through the day. I love that you are here. You're ready to do this reflective work. This podcast will help you to know and understand yourself and to move towards the work that actually fits you. Remember, slowing down gives you the space to be honest with yourself and face your truth. You can shift your approach and start moving in a way that feels right. Slow down, trust yourself, and let your next move come from understanding, not pressure. Thank you for listening to The Action Within. I hope today's reflections help you see yourself more clearly and give you the awareness to move forward with intention. You can find the full transcript, additional resources, and ways to work with me at theactionwithin.com. If this episode resonated, please share it with other women who feel lost in their work. Trust yourself, choose yourself.